Now let's make a magic ring to crochet the leg. So wrap the yarn around your 2 fingers, then wrap it till the other end. Then insert your hook into the loops and pull the second one to the front and twist it. Then yarn over and pull the yarn through the loop to secure the magic ring. Now remove the ring from your fingers and let's start the first round. For the first round, we'll be making 10 single crochets into the magic ring. So insert your hook into the ring, pull the yarn and pull up. Now you got 2 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through those 2 loops and you made 1 single crochet. So to complete round 1, you will have to make a total of 10 single crochets into the magic ring. After 10 single crochets, pull the tail to close the first round. And then let's move on to round 2. To start round 2, you will need to find the first stitch of the first round, which is here, and insert your hook into that stitch and make the first single crochet of the second round. Don't forget to put a stitch marker on that stitch so you will not lose the starting point. Then for round 2, you will have to make 1 single crochet in each and every stitch. So insert your hook into the stitch just like this and make 1 single crochet. And continue making 1 single crochet in every stitch until you reach the stitch marker. So when you reach the stitch marker, there will be a total of 10 single crochets. Now I finished round 2, so let's start round 3. Remove the stitch marker and again make the first single crochet in the first stitch. And this is the first stitch of round 3, so put a stitch marker back onto that stitch. Also for round 3, we will be repeating the same pattern, which is making 1 single crochet in each and every stitch. And when you reach the stitch marker, you will get a total of 10 single crochets. Now I finished round 3, so remove the stitch marker and finally make 1 chain like this and then cut the yarn. So now the first leg is finished. For the second leg, repeat the same pattern from round 1 to 3, but for the second leg you don't need to cut the yarn. Also hide this tail of the magic ring inside the leg. So here as you can see, I finished the second leg, and now let's connect these 2 legs by making a single crochet. So now insert your hook back into the loop, and now to connect the 2 legs, insert your hook into any stitch on the first leg like this and then make a single crochet. Make sure that the single crochet is a bit tight so the gap will not be too big. So here like this, and now this is the first stitch of round 4, so put a stitch marker on that stitch. And according to the pattern of round 4, we'll be making 20 single crochets, which means 10 single crochets on each leg. Now I'm making single crochet, 1 single crochet in each stitch. And here as you can see, this is the stitch where I finished off my first leg. And for the next stitch, this is the new stitch. So insert your hook into this one and make the next single crochet. So now the stitch where you finished off the first leg is not really noticeable. Now continue with the pattern, make 10 single crochets on this first leg. Now I finished making 10 single crochets on this first leg. So now it's time to move on to the second leg. So to start the first stitch of the second leg, find the new stitch. And here, as you can see, this stitch is already occupied with the previous stitch, so skip that stitch. But here, insert your hook into this next stitch and make the first single crochet. Then continue the pattern by making 9 more single crochets. And make sure that when you reach the stitch marker, you have a total of 20 single crochets for this round. Once you finish round 4, you may notice a big gap between the two legs, but don't worry, we can sew that later once we sew the arms. Now let's start the first stitch of round 5. For this time, attach your stitch marker on the side of the stitch like this, because we will be repeating the same pattern for round 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So the pattern is make 20 single crochets, which means that you will have to make 1 single crochet in each and every stitch for a total of 5 rounds. So now make 20 single crochets for round 5, and then once you finish round 5 like this, don't remove the stitch marker, just continue another round, which is round 6. So repeat the same pattern for round 5 to round 9, and then once you finish round 9, I will show you how to count the rounds using the stitch marker. Now let's count the rounds. So here the stitch with the stitch marker represents round 5, and above it is round 6, 7, 8, and 9. So as you can see, I finished round 9 and I also fill inside the body with the fiber fillings. Let's continue round 10. For round 10, we'll be making decrease stitch for 10 times. Normally we insert the hook into the stitch like this, but for the decrease stitch we will only insert into the front loops. So to look at the front loop, look the stitch from above and insert your hook into the middle of the V and you will get a front loop. Repeat the same thing for the next stitch, and now I got 2 front loops on my hook. So yarn over and pull it through the loop and make a single crochet. And this is the first stitch of round 10. And I will show you the decrease stitch again. Look the stitch from above and you will see the V, and insert your hook into the middle of the V like this and you got 1 front loop. Repeat the same thing for the next stitch, and now you got 2 front loops. So yarn over and pull it through the 2 loops and make a single crochet. And this is how you make a decrease stitch. So to complete round 10, make a total of 10 decrease stitches. Once you finish this round, make sure to fill inside the body with fiber fillings. And now let's move on to the head or the neck. As you can see here, this round. And also for this round, we will insert the hook only into the front loops of the stitch. So to make it easier, I look at the stitch from above and I insert my hook into the front loop like this, and then I will make 2 single crochets in the same stitch. Now I made the first one, and I will make the second one in that same place. So now I made 2 single crochets in the first place, and now let's move on to the next stitch. Insert your hook into the next front loop, and then make 2 single crochets in that place. So this is the pattern of round 11. So to complete it, you will have to insert your hook into the front loops and then make 2 single crochets in that front loop. Repeat this until you reach the stitch marker and you will get a total of 20 single crochets. Now let's continue round 12. For this round, we will also repeat the pattern, which is making 4 single crochets and then an increase stitch in the 5th stitch. First, let's make the first single crochet of round 12 and then put a stitch marker there. Since we need to make 4 single crochets, make the second one in the second stitch like this, and the third one in the third stitch, and the fourth one in the fourth stitch. Now I complete 4 single crochet. So into the next stitch, I will have to make an increase stitch. Increase stitch means that you will have to make 2 single crochets in the same place. Now I made the first one, and I make another one in the same place, and this is called the increase stitch. And I repeated the pattern for 1 time, and to complete this you will have to repeat the pattern for 3 more times, and you will get a total of 24 single crochets. Now I'm making 4 single crochets, and I'm at the 5th stitch again, so into this one make 2 single crochets together in the same place. So this is how you repeat the pattern. Just continue the pattern until you reach the stitch marker. Now I finished round 12, so now let's move on to the next round. Make the first single crochet of round 13, and this time put a stitch marker on the side of the stitch because we are repeating the same pattern. So from round 13 to round 17, we'll be making 1 single crochet in each and every stitch for a total of 5 rounds, just like what you did for the body part. And then I will show you guys how to count the rounds once you finished round 17. Here, this is round 13, and then 14, 15, 16, and 17. Now let's move on to round 18. For round 18, we'll be making 2 single crochets and then a decrease stitch. So to follow the pattern, make first single crochet in the first stitch, and then put a stitch marker on the first stitch, and then make the second single crochet in the second stitch here. So this means 2 single crochets, and then after that make a decrease stitch. So insert your hook into the 2 front loops like this and make a single crochet. And here I repeated the pattern for 1 time, and repeat again. Make 1 single crochet in the next 2 stitches. After that, make a decrease stitch. So repeat this pattern for a total of 6 times, and when you reach the stitch marker, you will get a total of 18 stitches. Now let's start round 19. For round 19, make 1 single crochet, and then after that, a decrease stitch next. Repeat this pattern for a total of 6 times, and you will get a total of 12 single crochets. Now I'm making a decrease stitch, and I finished the pattern for the first time, and I will repeat this for the second time. 1 single crochet, and then a decrease stitch next. Then continue the pattern for 4 more times. Before you begin the last round, fill inside the head with 5 row fill-ins, and for round 20, we'll be making 6 decrease stitches. For this time, insert your hook into the whole stitch like this, instead of the front loop, and then pull the yarn and insert your hook into the next whole stitch and pull the yarn. Now you got 3 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. This is also a way of making the decrease stitch. So to complete this round, make a total of 6 decrease stitches. This is the second one. Insert your hook and pull the yarn and insert your hook into the next stitch and pull the yarn. Now you got 3 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. This is the third one. This is the fourth one. Fifth one. And then this is the last one. So now I finished making 6 decrease stitches and then leave a long tail for sewing. Now grab your darning needle and sew this last round. My sewing way is that I go into each stitch using the needle like this, and once I reach the start, I pull the yarn so the last round is closed. So here, as you can see, the last round is closed, and once you finished sewing, make sure to secure the yarn and hide it inside the head or just cut it short. So now the body and the head is finished. For the arms, make a magic ring first, and then for round 1, make 7 single crochets into the magic ring. Once you finished round 1, pull the tail to close the ring, and then let's move on to the next round. For round 2, 3, and 4, we'll be making 7 single crochets for each round, which means that you will have to make 1 single crochet in each and every stitch. Whenever you finished making the first stitch of a new round, don't forget to put a stitch marker on that stitch. For me, there are only 3 more rounds left, so I'm not going to use a stitch marker. I will just count the number of the stitch in my mind. Once you finished round 4, leave a long tail for sewing. And don't forget to hide the tail of the magic ring inside the arm. You can also put some stuffing inside the arm if you wish. And now let's move on to sewing the arm. I sew the stitches of the arm first before attaching it onto the body. Now the opening of the arm is closed, so now I'm gonna attach the arm to the body. I attach it near the neck and I sew it just like this. Once you finished sewing the arm, use that yarn to sew the gap between the 2 legs, and then secure the yarn and hide it inside the body. For the ear, make 5 single crochets into the magic ring, then pull the tail to close it, and finally leave a long tail for sewing. For the ear, I sew it on the last 3 rounds on the head, and it is also right above the arm. And now to secure the sewing, I will just bring these two tails together and I will tie them into a knot. And now to secure the sewing, I will just bring these two tails together and I will tie them into a knot like this and hide it inside the head. For the nose, make 8 single crochets into the magic ring and then pull the tail to close it. Now make a slip stitch into the first and pull the yarn through the stitch and also through the loop. And this is the slip stitch. Then after that, leave a long tail for sewing. For the nose, I recommend you to start sewing at the third round from the neck so that there are 2 rounds left between the nose and the neck. But here, as you can see, I sew the nose too closely to the neck, so I redo this part again off camera. But here, this is just an example of how I sew the nose on the face of the bear. Once you finished sewing, make sure to secure the yarn and hide it inside the head. Then after that, let's add the face details. For that, I am using this black yarn and I split the yarn into thin threads and I'm gonna use these 2 thin threads to add the details. Now I'm gonna sew a letter T on the nose. For the eyes, I recommend you to add them on round 14 with 1 stitch apart from the nose. Round 14 is located on the 4th round from the neck. And here, as you can see, I continue adding stitches at the same place until it is poofy enough for the eye that I want. And I also repeat the same thing for the second eye. For the accessory on the neck, use a long yarn and tie it into a ribbon, and then adjust it according to your liking. And now the tutorial is finished. I hope you will be able to crochet your own cute mini bear. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe and comment down below what I should make next. See you all in my next video.